Yeah. In a world of static noise, waves and spin, where the headlines blur and the lies begin, there's a signal rising through the haze. Global watchmen lighten up the maze. They don't flinch, they don't fold, digging deep, breaking the mold. True patrol on digital ground, every whisper, every sound. Hey, eyes on the truth, no turning away. Global watchmen shining through the gray, from the shadows to the screen. They decode what the silence means. Click subscribe, let the veil be torn. This is the news we've been waiting for. Hey, hey, waiting for. Oh, hey, hey. They're not blind, they're not blind, they're not blind. Calling out the ties that bind. From the towers to the streets, they bring the fire, they bring the heat. Algorithms can't silence the flame. When the watchers rise and call out the game, oh, no fear, no filter, no retreat, just the pulse of truth beneath the feet. Oh, eyes on the truth, no turning away. Global watchmen leading the way. Every story, every thread, for the living and the misled. Raise your voice, let the signal soar. This is the news we've been waiting for. Hey, hey, waiting for, babe. Oh, hey, hey.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. My life has value.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Global Watchman News. My name is Lori Swan. Hope you guys are all doing well. If you are in the live chat, we do ask that you keep it family friendly. There will be moderators in there today to make sure that we stay within the terms of service put forward to us by the platform we're utilizing. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Take a minute, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, so you know when we go live. All right, so it is October 2nd, 2025. Can't believe it's October already. I'm going to, this is pre-recorded, just so you know. This isn't a live broadcast, but I wanted to start doing some previously recorded shows to put out there for you guys. So this is the first of it. What we're going to talk today about is targeted individuals. You probably heard that thrown around on social media. There's a lot of groups out there, pages out there on Facebook, just dedicated to the targeted individual community, which is very, very large, by the way. What is a targeted individual? Targeted individual is someone who believes that they are a victim of persistent organized stalking, whether it be monitoring, harassment by, it's usually government agents or shadowy, quote unquote, adversaries. This is a real thing. Okay, please don't think I'm going to diminish this by any means, because there are real people out there that are or could be classified as a targeted individual. But there's also people out there that we would describe these experiences as hallucinogenic or, a symptom of delusional disorders. I mean, these people, they claim they're being followed. They're being being followed in their real life. Okay, so they're being followed to the grocery store. They're being followed to, to work. They are claiming that they're being targeted through electronic means, through microwave technology. Their house is bugged or whatever. Whenever I come across a self-proclaimed targeted individual, I take a look at what have they done in their life to cause them to be a targeted individual. And you look at what they do. Have they worked in a job that is a government asset, like in the military field, or have they been in the military? Do they work in the private sector for like Halliburton or things like that, companies like that? Are they in the pharmaceutical business? Are they, look at what they've done in their life, and then look at what they've done in their private life. And what I mean by that is, okay, this is what I do on Global Watchman News, is my private life. Okay, I have a other life that I have outside of this, and that's my job, my family, whatever. Okay, and that's separate from what I look at personally. So then I look at the person's personal life. What do they do? What is their online presence? What information do they put out there? What kind of posts do they post? What is their beliefs, whether it be religious beliefs or their political beliefs? What groups do they belong to? The things that would get them put on a list. If you've been doing this for any length of time, exposing the satanic or Luciferian side of reality, like we do here at Global Watchman News, or what we would do over on exposing satanic world government, and pages and groups like that, things like that will get you on a list. So those are the things that you have to look at. If somebody comes to me and claims that they're a targeted individual, these are the things that I immediately start to do. If I go on to their social media, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, TikTok, and I don't see anything pertaining to exposing the Luciferian, or you know what I'm saying, the Luciferian satanic agenda, if I don't see anything political, if I don't see anything religious, if I don't see anything like that, that raises flags. So what are you doing in your life that warrants being a targeted individual? Because let me tell you something, it's not cheap surveilling private individuals. I don't know if you have ever tried or looked into hiring a private investigator. They are not cheap. The way our world is right now, the way our country is, people, even in me, and I've been doing this for a long time. I mean, I've gotten death threats. I've gotten people driving by my house. I've gotten things like that. Even what I do doesn't warrant government surveillance. It really doesn't. Now, I will also look at, these people who will say, well, I'm on a government watch list. I went to I purchased, and this is real. Okay, I'm drawing from personal experience. They sent me a boarding pass for their flight, and it was a domestic flight. It wasn't international. It was just within the United States, and it had they said that look at my boarding pass, and I looked at it, and it had 4 S's, SSSS up at the top. And they said, I'm on a list, and now they're going to put me through, a different kind of checkpoint, whatever. So I did a little bit of research, and I found out that a large percentage of people get chosen for the SSSS interview, I guess, when you go through security. I've gotten it a couple of times. It just means that they're just going to put you through the other machines, the ones that poof your, the feet, and they're going to patch. It's really nothing. Okay. Like I said, even with somebody that's does what I do, I've never considered myself a targeted individual. I'm not that important. So when somebody comes to me on a private sector and they make this claim, I have to look at them, like I said, and I look at these things. Now, again, I'm not saying this doesn't happen. I'm not saying that there's no such thing as a targeted individual, because there truly is. But we're talking level of like Alex Jones, David Icke. Now, those people came and said, hey, I'm a targeted individual. I feel like I'm being followed. I feel like I'm being watched. I think my house is bugged. I'd be like, well, I'd be surprised if it wasn't. I'd be shocked. It's things like that. So if you're a private individual, I mean, I have to look at your mental state, your status, your mental state, and things like that. There's several different aspects of it. There's different names, actually. One of the trying to think which way I'm going to go with this. Let's do this first. Let's go into go into what a, no, I'm not. I'm going to do that. Okay. So, um, looking at somebody's mental status. Okay. And they say they're making claims that they're a target individual and they're under medical care. All right, let's go this way first. So they're under medical care, they're under psychiatric care, outpatient. You know, they go see a counselor or a psychologist or a psychiatrist or whatever, you know, once a month, twice a month, once a week, whatever it is that they're going to see this person. And they put them on medication and whatever. Now, say this person does have an online presence. Then I look at it a whole different way, because if you have an online presence and it is palatable, it's you can see what the information this person is putting out, and then this person is, you know, going to a psychiatrist or a psychologist or whatever counselor. Actually, it would be a psychiatrist, because the psychiatrist is the only one that can put you on medication. So let's go with that. We'll go with the psychiatrist. Then new red flags get put up with me, and that's only because I know that the medical field in the United States has been compromised, and it has been since Project Bluebeam. The entrance of, I'm sorry, did I say Bluebeam? That's not what I meant. Why did I say that? Project Paperclip. So Project Paperclip was after World War II, and the United States put on the whole Nuremberg trial smokescreen. Made it look like they were bringing these Nazis to justice, when in reality they weren't. I mean, they were the low swinging fruit was the ones that pretty much paid for the crimes of the elite. But if you were anybody or you know, who's who among the Nazis, you did not stand trial. And if you did stand trial, you didn't, and were convicted, you didn't face the consequences. It was just for show. And what the United States did is they allowed these people to come into our country, and pretty much allowed them to make themselves at home. And let me just pull this up for us. All right. This is Operation Paperclip. Nazi scientists granted American citizenship. And they were. During World War II, the Nazis developed a terrifying arsenal of highly destructive weaponry, from biological nerve agents that carried a bubonic plague to the feared and coveted V-1, V-2 rockets. As the Cold War dawned, the U.S. government was itching to get a hold of Nazi technology to strengthen their military and scientific might, leading them to embark upon a secret project in 1946 that would become known as Operation Paperclip. This top-secret operation hastened the immigration process for over 1,600 Nazi doctors, physicists, and chemists, as well as their families, who sought to escape persecution in Germany for the atrocities they committed during the Holocaust. Knowing that taking a high-ranking Nazi scientist was morally problematic, the U.S. officials were keen to shroud this operation in secrecy, whitewashing the histories and some of the results. A member of Adolf Hitler's elite and a major in the SS, Vernon von Braun, was a prolific war criminal brought over to the United States as part of Operation Paperclip. Due to Braun's aerospace engineering experience, the Americans chose to ignore his full awareness of the Nazi death camps and personal involvement in handpicking slave laborers from Buchenwald concentration camp, handing him U.S. citizenship, a job at NASA, and in the U.S. Army, and assigning him as chief of the U.S. Army Ballistic Weapons Program. Braun went on to develop the U.S. missile arsenal during the Cold War, and later served as one of the architects for the Apollo program, which sent man to the moon in 1969. Bullshit. In 1977, Braun was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the United States' highest civilian honor, and never faced any implications or the atrocities he committed in World War II. He died later that year at age 65 in Alexandria, Virginia. Okay, so a lot of these people came over post World War II and were handed pretty much citizenship. Not only were these people absorbed into these high-ranking positions, whether it be at NASA, the American Medical Association, pharmaceutical companies, and we're just going to go with that right now, that they were allowed to, like I said, to continue their work. Whatever they started over in Nazi Germany, they were allowed to continue here. Along with them, a organization known as the Tavistock Institute pretty much outlined how our medical and our educational systems are today. Let's just do it that way. I'm going to go with this one here. So the Tavistock Institute, let's do this first. Okay. So the Tavistock Institute of Human Relations was established after World War II to apply psychoanalytic principles to social issues, contributing to fields like organizational development, group dynamics, and applied psychology through unique methods such as systems, psychodynamics, and experimental learning. While its work in understanding group and social behavior has been applied to organizational change and leadership, it has also been the subject of conspiracy theories allegedly involved in mind control and psychological warfare due to its overlapping methodologies and historical government collaborations. So what they would do is they would train these people at the Tavistock Institute, which, by the way, the first CEO of Tavistock was oh gosh, what is his name? I just left my brain. Oh, he was that doctor. Oh, I'm so sorry. Wow, it just completely brain fart there. Let me see. Oh, if I can find him. Sigmund Freud. Wow. The first CEO of Tavistock was Sigmund Freud. And so you can see, I mean, we know him. He was pretty twisted. And, you know, to pretty much chalk everything up to a sexual orientation, I guess you would say, is just, I don't know, it's beyond me. But anyway, so he was the first leader of the Tavistock. And they would train these people at Tavistock, and then they would send them over to the United States, and they would infiltrate things like I said, the American Medical Association, whether it be, your doctors, your physicians, psychiatrists, psychologists, that department, pharmaceutical companies, and even into our schools, our colleges. You know, we sit there and you can see Tavistock's influence even today on the colleges at the college level, because a lot of the professors that teach our kids, that we pay them to teach our kids, are so left leaning. No, I can't. No, they're not left leaning. They are like left in the closet left, like door locked, left, not changing. And these are the people that are influencing our children. Charlie Kirk really nailed it when he said that college was a scam, because it was. We're literally paying these colleges to brainwash our children. And Tavistock has a really big hand in it. That'll be a topic for another show. But okay, so now I'm going to go to, oh, that's done. So the Tavistock Institute's involvement in American medicine included collaboration on ethical principles for healthcare and the influence of its social scientific methods in group dynamics, organizational behavior, particularly in the fields of psychiatry and mental health. Some claims of covert, widespread influences are associated with long debunked conspiracy theories. They're not debunked, absolutely not debunked at all. The thing of it is not debunked. You can actually look at the Tavistock Institute and see their involvement in it. In 1999, the Tavistock Group published a shared ethical principles for healthcare, and it was involved a multidisciplinary group of physicians, academic professors and stuff, largely made up, and this is their words, of Anglo-American members, so white Americans, white men. The purpose of the group intended to create a shared ethical framework for all healthcare participants, including patients, providers, and owners of healthcare systems. The thing of it is they have a twisted idea of ethics. Again, coming from Project Paperclip. Those people, those men that came over, some women, but mostly men, had a really twisted ethical outlook, view. And when the Tavistock Institute was established in 1947, a lot of the money that went into the creation of it came from Rockefeller funding. And it still to this day receives funding from the Rockefeller Foundation. Its impact on our U.S. Mental health is that the Institute's methods were introduced to American medical and mental health networks through allied figures and organizations. For example, the Research Center for Group Dynamics was founded at MIT by Tavistock. And then there were other spin-offs. Now, they want to say that conspiracy is baseless. How can it be baseless? It's based on the facts. We look at who they are, what they're involved with, and what they're doing. I mean, we can add 2 and 2 and get 4. They want us to add 2 and 2 and get 5. Well, it doesn't work that way. It really doesn't work that way. There was let's pull this up because this is quite interesting. There was a paper. There we go. So there was a paper. This is through the American Psychological Association, the APA, and it's a psychologist's involvement in repressive Stasi, secret police activities in former East Germany. Now, this goes along with the Zursttag, and the Zursttag is it's a German word, and it means to basically mess with somebody's mind. And it goes on saying that the use of psychology within the context of intelligence or secret services around the world creates ethical issues and inherently erode psychology's professional standards. The historic case of the East German Stasi secret police provides an opportunity to systematically study such clandestine abuse of psychology, as the Stasi archives are open and accessible. We presented information on the structure and function of the Department of Operative Psychology in the former Academy of the Ministry for State Security, which is the Stasi. This includes an outline of its history, corporate identity, curriculum, research agenda, and academic post-graduation. So they go into this. Now, let's do this. And I can give you an absolute on what the definition of that is. Give me just a second. And I will pull that up. Because it's a word that we don't hear too often is the word called, it's Zersetzung. And I have done a show on this before on the other channel. I think it was in 2019. But it's German for decomposition and disruption. It was a psychological warfare technique used by the Ministry for State Security, which is the Stasi, to repress political opponents in East Germany during the 1970s and 1980s. Zersetzung served to combat alleged and actual dissidents through covert means, using secret methods of abuse of control and psychological manipulation to prevent anti-government activities. Among the defining features of it was the widespread use of counter-espionage methods as a means of repression. People were commonly targeted on a preemptive and preventative basis to limit or stop activities of political dissent and cultural incorrectness that may have gone on to perform, and not on the basis of crimes that they had actually committed. Zersetzung methods were designed to break down, undermine, and paralyze people behind a facade of social normality in the form of silent repression. What they did is they used operational psychology and an extensive network of people between 170,000 and a half a million of collaborators to launch personalized psychological attacks against targets to damage their mental health and lower the chances of a hostile action against the state. Among the collaborators were youth as young as 14 years of age. We see this currently on social media because we know, and it's been actually verified, that there are people out there that are on social media strictly to change the narrative. Example. So say I put up a political post that was very, very anti-left. And you would get people coming in who I've never seen before, because my posts are public. So these people I've never had any encounter with before. Pretty much calling you names, calling the information fake, doing this, doing that. We call them trolls. They're trolls, and they're paid to do what they do. These are Zersetzung techniques. They're real. So that's why I look at the online footprint of a person who claims to be a targeted individual. To go after somebody who is not a threat to really anything, somebody who may get, I don't know, 2 likes on a post or 1 comment every 5 posts, they're not going to put you in their sights. Seriously, they're not. You don't pose a threat. Now, if you have a platform that gets noticed by a lot of people, like back in the day, back in when Exposing Satanic World Government first came on Facebook, before I even took over it in 2014 from Patrick had over 200,000 people and he was getting an outreach of close to 1 million people a week. I took it over in February of 2014. Now I took it over with just the name. I didn't take over the page with the 200 whatever thousand people. I just took over the name, created a new page. Within 6 months, I had 250,000 people following that page. I had 14 editors. I had round-the-clock people, do comments, watching comments, making sure that it was a safe place for people to interact with one another. We were at an outreach of close to 8 to 9, sometimes 10 or 11 million people a week. That's over 1 million a day. And unfortunately, we got so big so fast that Facebook took us down. Now, during that time is when I got the death threats, quite a few of them actually. I had one pop up on my social media. I was in my home. My desk was right next to the window, and when you looked at it, when I was married before Dave, was my husband before Dave. We lived in an apartment on the second floor, and when I looked out the window in the bedroom, which I was right by, you could see out into the parking lot and you could see out into the street. And I had a message pop up on my Facebook and basically tell me, he said, "I'm watching you." And I was like, "Whatever, dude, go away." And then he gave my location. He gave the corner. When I looked out that window, the corner that was on, that street was on, he knew exactly where I was. He had pinpointed me. He knew exactly where I was. Now, did that faze me? No, not really. I mean, I did make a report just in case something happened, That was right around the same time that that crazy group, Lie Killers, put out that video of us telling. There was a lot of us on there too. There was quite a few. Dabu was on it. I can't even think of it. Was just a lot of. Enter the Stars was on it. Casey, Ron Johnson from Stranger Than Fiction. It was a lot of us on that list that they said they were going to come into our homes and film our execution and put it up on the internet. So yeah, I mean that was, was that a targeted individual from the government? No, it wasn't a targeted individual from the government. Like I said, I don't think I'm really that important. But I did piss off a certain group of people, and whatever. So I don't believe that I've ever been targeted by electronic memes. I think we're all being targeted. We're all being watched. You can't go out of your home right now without getting on camera at some point in your day. The government's watching all of us, not just individuals. Big Brother's watching. We live in 1984. We lived in what we were warned about decades ago. We're living it. Now the United Kingdom, they're going to the digital ID, which, I mean, you really want to talk about some interesting things. That truly is. There's a video I want to play for you guys, and I was watching it earlier. Just don't remember where it was. Give me just a second. History. Okay, so I'm going to stop the pre-recorded there because I could not find the video, and I have since found it. So hello, I want to welcome everybody in the chat room. Hope you guys are all doing well. So this next video is, it shows surveillance and exactly, where we're headed, because we are definitely headed into a Big Brother 1984 constant surveillance. Like I said, you can't go outside without getting on a camera at some point in your day, which kind of is interesting because you would think that more crimes would be able to be solved because of that fact. But, I guess they only use it for certain things. I don't know. But anyway, so let's take a look at the video. This is what I wanted to play for you guys. Let me just pull this up for us, because it is actually, like I said, quite interesting. Here we go.
Been updated. Time to start a productive day. Good morning, citizens. Your overnight account balances have been updated. Time to start a productive day. Final notice, your account balance is below 500. You need 50 credits by the end of the day to avoid automatic eviction. If you have missed work due to illness, you must provide a doctor's note to reclaim your credits.
Any extra credits? Please.
Tensions are high today, with more people planning to join the Citizens Against Digital Control protest. Remember, the government knows who you are at all times. Resisting is not worth the consequences. All of their newest social credit systems are designed to keep you and your families safe and efficient.
Authorities seized a record balance of an individual's credits, citing excessive hoarding.
Traffic violation detected. 7 miles per hour over the limit. 75 credits have been automatically deducted.
You have to be fucking kidding me.
Yep, you got the flu. Your blood work shows a significant iron deficiency. I recommend incorporating more red meat into your diet.
Dr. Jones, your taxes were not filed and have been automatically deducted with late fees. Your medical license has been revoked.
Oh, hell nah, I filed an extension.
Purchase denied. Monthly red meat allowance exceeded. Try mealworms instead.
Can you guys please let me through?
Attention. Unauthorized political gathering detected. Participants' access to financial services has been suspended. Due to the speeding infraction, your car will be immobilized for 3 days.
Fuck you! Take your surveillance policies and rot in hell!
You've earned 50 bonus credits for reporting your neighbor's hateful misconduct. This content exceeds your current social credit tier. May we suggest citizen responsibility? Sarah, open the door. You have been identified by the authorities. Don't resist. Don't resist. Don't resist.
So yeah, we are very close to that, especially now with the UK implementing their digital ID. It's just going to be, it's going to have a snowball effect, I think. I mean, we've gone into a soft surveillance here with the real IDs, and our next step will be the digital as well, which ultimately will lead to the mark of the beast. We know that. So, yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to get off here. This is all I have. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank all of our moderators as always. And until next time, guys, remember, eyes open, no fear.